Hello vinyl community, it's been a while since my last video, must apologise for that. I think it was in September sometime. I actually started a new job in September, so I've been pretty busy getting to grips with that. I've been listening to a lot of records, I've bought a few, so it's not like I've not been doing and listening to records, I just haven't had time to make video. So this is a bumper update I suppose for the autumn and winter of 2016, and so I'll just walk you through some of the purchases that I've got. I don't think I've got all of them here with me because I might have forgotten one or two, but I'll try and give you a heads up on what I overall I've got. So there's a shop in the town which I now work in, a record shop which is pretty good. It's got the usual stocks and about fairly priced, and you know I pick up a few things here and there, but they've got an entire room full of boxes full of £1 stuff, which I don't always look through because I haven't always got the time. And it's just your usual fodder most of the time, but occasionally you do turn some stuff up. Being a big jazz fan helps as well, because a lot of people don't really value jazz. Some more mainstream jazz anyway. So I do pick up quite a lot of stuff in that sense. So the first 3 records I've got to show you, these are from about October time, and I've got 3 records all from the £1 box. So the first one is this delightful little number, Ella and Louis, again that's Ella Fitzgerald and Louis Armstrong, there we go. Nice shiny cover, it's a HMV label with a nice flip back sleeve, pretty clean I have to say when I got hold of it, and first published in '57, I think this is kind of like 1960 something, this repress, it doesn't say, but there we have the kind of magenta or maroon HMV labels. Pretty happy with that, especially for £1. It's in very good condition. Obviously somebody bought this back in the 60s or the 70s or whatever and took very good care of it. It's got one of these really kind of thin papery sleeves. I've put that one through the cleaning machine and it plays like a dream. Really happy with that. You can't really beat Louis Armstrong ever, and you certainly can't beat him when he's teamed up with somebody like Ella Fitzgerald. So 2 of my favourite jazz artists in one place. Second one from the same visit, right next to it in the box, guess what? The same thing, but volume 2. So exactly the same. Lovely condition, nice shiny laminated sleeve with the flip back, and again just in great nick. Stuck it through the machine. I'm really happy with that. HMV label again. I don't think it's the original. I think is on Verve, but I mean, what's the chances of me finding that ever in my neck of the woods? So I'm pretty happy with that. That gives me, that stocks up my Ella Fitzgerald and also my Louis Armstrong. I've got a nice healthy selection for both of those now. The third one that I found, and this is where I say you sometimes turn up gems in the £1 boxes. Third one I found was a bit mucky. I've cleaned it up and it plays really nicely. It was a copy of the Pet Sounds by the Beach Boys. One of their seminal albums, widely considered to be the first prog album, not prog, sorry, concept album, sorry, excuse me. So it's a mono, it says up here, it's a mono, it's a flip back sleeve on Capitol. I've checked the matrix numbers, it's actually a first press for £1. I mean, it's always worth having a look, you never know what you're going to turn up. I actually bought the 40th, oh my goodness, yeah, 40th anniversary repress of this year, and I got the stereo version. So I've now got a mono and a stereo, so I'm pretty happy about that, and it does sound completely different. There's the record, we've got Capitol Rainbows type thing going on, and it's pretty clean. It's not spotless, I'm not going to lie to you, it's not spotless at all, but it plays really well. I'm really happy with that, and for £1 I'm certainly not going to scoff at that. Sleeve, it's seen some better days. There's a little bit of writing on it, you can see there's a little bit of a warp in there. I will at some point get around to giving that a little bit of a spray with it, with a water mist, and then flatten it out, but that will work, that will straighten out nicely. But again, like I said, for £1, I'm not going to complain, I can't possibly. So they're my £1 finds from kind of October time. Around the same time, I was given a voucher, because I've got a new job. My old job gave me a voucher when I left. I was really chuffed with that. So I was biding my time, waiting until I saw something that I really wanted on Amazon, and eventually, suddenly, this one came up. This is Radiohead, and it's Hail to the Thief by Radiohead. Now, rather than being, I think the original was on 2 10-inches, I think they do it on 1 single LP now as well, but this one is actually across 2 discs, 2 12-inch discs, and they are all 45, mastered at 45 RPM. So in theory, the sound quality should be marginally superior to that on a normal 33 1/3. So yeah, it's phenomenal. I mean, there's an argument to say, well, what difference are you really going to get? Because it's probably most likely a digital recording anyway. Well, it is. Packaging wise, it's lovely. It's got a sticker on the front there. We've got a lovely gatefold sleeve. Excuse me. There we go. Not dissimilar actually from the original CD. I've actually got the original CD I bought back in the day here, which is in this like digipack fold out kind of map. If I just try to unfold it a little bit for you, there we go. So that's the original CD packaging. So you can see they've kind of continued that with the vinyl release, and I'm pretty sure that was the way on the original vinyl release. What was it? 2000 and where was I working? I think it was 2001, 2002, somewhere around there. Let's have a look. 2003. Wow. Okay. Yeah. Fair enough. I was a little way out. But overall, I'm not going to show you both this because they're both very similar. You've got inner sleeves which again follow the same theme, and then you've got some nice big heavyweight discs. I'm not a massive prescriber to heavyweights better necessarily. I think if you take care of your records and you play them on the right machine, any record will sound pretty phenomenal. So I'm really happy with that. That was, I think, about 15 quid. That's a really, really good price for the way it sounds. I must say I'm going through a bit of a Radiohead phase since Moonshaped Pool came out, so that was a gimme. So then I was shopping in Bristol, and I ended up in a shop called Fop. I'm a poet and I didn't know it. I ended up buying this. This is a soundtrack from a film called Zombie Flesh Eaters. I think it was actually Zombie Flesh Eaters 2 originally, but basically it's a Caribbean island, zombies, lots of gory deaths, people's heads being pulled onto spikes and all sorts. A little bit gruesome, and at the end a boat from this island with a zombie on it floats into New York Harbour. I remember watching this when I was about 12 or 13, and I remember being quite scared of the film, but it was quite good fun. It was a little bit silly in its gore, but it was, still good. And I just remember really distinctly the final credits. It's kind of really a repetitive, minimalistic electronic soundtrack I absolutely loved. And I remember in the days that the internet was just beginning, I remember looking for it for ages, and then a few years ago it was released on record by a company called Death Waltz Records. Now, this is pressed on Death Waltz, but I think Death Waltz are kind of a subsidiary, a company to a company called Mondo, M-O-N-D-O. Anyway, long story short, the original presses of these, you can't find them. This I found in a shop called Fop in Bristol, and I paid 12 quid for it. Well happy with that. So there's the front. There's an OBI strip there that comes with it. I've just kept that in the middle there, and some nice artwork. But then the really cool thing about this, apart from the way it sounds, because I love it, takes me right back to sitting in the front room of my parents' old house and watching it, is the disc itself is kind of a putrid zombie green colour. Now, again, I'm not a subscriber to coloured vinyls are best, but it's quite cool, isn't it? I think it's cool. Certainly when it's on a platter spinning around, and it's not a stock kind of flat green. There's actually some kind of flex and texture in there, so it's almost like a slightly marbled, squidgy green colour. Love it. Love the sound of it. Love the look of it. The packaging is fantastic, and for 12 or 13 quid or whatever I paid, is this the receipt here? I think this is a receipt. What did I pay? 13 quid. I'm not going to fault that. So, another new vinyl, but again, on a budget somewhat. So the next ones I got, these are the start of December. I went back into my shop with the pound bins and I found a couple of albums. Got a couple of Christmas presents in there. Sticking with the theme, I suppose, actually. I got Ella Fitzgerald sings the Rodgers and Hart songbook. Again, if you compare that to these ones, it's very similar packaging. Almost new in terms of its condition. It plays absolutely beautifully. You can't really beat a bit of Richard Rodgers for songwriting, so I'm really happy with that. That was £1. There's more than £1's worth of music on there. And I know for a fact that if I didn't listen to it enough, I know a million people that are jazz fans like me that would love to have a listen to that. So that will be spun a million times. The other one that I found, which is in a little bit worse wear, but again for £1, was Art Tatum and Ben Webster Quartet. Now you can see it's a bit tatty, but I'm already happy that it's mono and it's a Verve. Okay, if we look on the back, it's a flip back sleeve, so it's quite an old pressing. I don't know if it's a first, probably not. Art Tatum, what a legend as a piano player, but Ben Webster is one of my favourite saxophone players. His tone is just to die for. So I was thrilled to find this. I've had a good work on this, cleaning it up. I put some glue on this one, as well as putting it through the anti-stack machine, and it's turned up okay. It sounds pretty good, and for £1, I'm not gonna scoff at that again. Wow, really happy with that when I found it, and completely flabbergasted that they had it in a £1 bin. I mean, I suppose it's not in great nick, and I've had to put a bit of time into it, so maybe that's justified. But still, I'd have paid a little bit more than £1 for that, I'm sure. Speaking of which, I'm going to be going back to my favourite shop tomorrow, I think, just as my last Christmas present shop for myself. Just because I've been buying everybody else stuff. It's depressing. I'll buy myself something. 2 more to go. So I was Christmas shopping in Bristol again 3 weeks ago. And I went to my favourite record shop in Bristol and ended up coming out with Scott Walker 4. This is the reissue of Scott 4 that they did, and again, £10. This is the best of his solo albums for me. I've got all 1, 2, 3 and 4 now on these represses that have been done, and I'm absolutely made up with this. There we go. I think I've mentioned the other Scotts at some point, but Scott 4, I think, by far, well, not by far, but clearly his best, certainly of his very early solo work. For a tenner, smashed it. Really happy about that. So that's been listened to an awful lot. It's on a gatefold sleeve. It's a new pressing. It's, you know, there's nothing to say much about that. And the last one I want to show you, I did post this on Facebook, on Twitter the other week. I was just searching on Zavvi, Z-A-V-V-I, because I know they used to do something called a secret soundtrack. They maybe still do it, which is a subscription where you get records, soundtracks sent to you every month, and you know, it's random. And I didn't subscribe because I heard that the quality on them was quite bad. I had a friend that subscribed for a couple and stopped very quickly because the audio quality was terrible. But then I've read some reviews recently that say actually the more recent ones are pretty good. So I just had a look to see what was on there, see if they were selling off any of their back stock. Sure enough, they were. There was a few on there that I was interested in, but I went for one of them, and I'll tell you for why. I went for one which is the Fantastic Four, the most recent film. There it is. This is exactly as it came in the post. Obviously I've opened it and listened to it, but it came with this kind of this pouch with at the movies embossed on it with a sticker. This is number 7 of 500 pressed. So already, yeah, okay, packaging wise, not bad, pretty nice. Why did I go for this one over the other ones on offer? I went for this one because it's written in part. I don't know how much, but it sounds like quite a lot, in part by Philip Glass, who's one of my favourite contemporary composers. So yeah, lovely gatefold laminated sleeve, really thick cardstock. That's a weighty lot of weight. And the really cool thing about this, again, I covered this really with the Zombies record, but if you look, actually, I've got the first disc is this kind of fluorescent orange colour, cool, and the second one is stuck. There we go, got it. The second one is just kind of slightly fluorescent, slightly marbled green, so kind of orange and green theme. There's also an insert, there it is, okay, which is just an A4, or sorry, not an A4, this is a vinyl sized insert with a couple of stills, and that's it really. There's not really a lot of information on there. I was hoping they were going to tell me a little bit more about who wrote it. This cost me, I was quite surprised actually, cost me a tenner. What? Including postage. So if you think 3 or 4 quid postage in the UK, and it was hit pretty quick as well. So I'm paying probably about 6 or 7 quid for that. I mean, really? The music on it's pretty good. It's not the best soundtrack I've ever heard in my life, but it's pretty good, and it certainly has massive influences from Philip Glass in there, obviously because I think he co-wrote some of it, or lots of it. I love Satyagraha, and I love all of Philip Glass's works, but this one isn't quite up there because it's obviously a film soundtrack, which is a Marvel one, so it's got to play into that fantasy kind of genre quite a lot. But it's for a tenner in total. I mean, that's going to sit on my shelf quite nicely, and that'll get listened to quite often as well. £10. What? There's a couple more on there. There's a double disc of District 7. Is it District 7 or District 13? One based in South Africa, which is a great film, but I haven't listened to the soundtrack, so I'm going to listen to that soundtrack and decide whether I want to buy that one. But it's reduced from like 25 quid down to a tenner or something like that. So go and have a look. Zavvi, Z-A-V-V-I. having a bit of a sell-off. That's what I've got to show you. That's my kind of pre-Christmas stock check, if you will, and I'll update again the other side of Christmas, because I hopefully will get a few records for Christmas as well. Thank you for watching. If you'd like any more comments or information on anything that I've been discussing or showing you, please leave a comment. I'll be happy to oblige. Otherwise, have a lovely Christmas. I hope 2017 brings you happiness and joy, and hopefully no more amazing musicians will die in 2017. And take care. Thanks for watching. Bye bye now.